And here we go. Bonjour, dear friends. It is so exciting. We're back together. This is May 23rd. We have today an amazing, incredible, fascinating guest. And we are all in California. Our guest is in California as well. He was a very busy boy today. He will tell us all about it. And I need to tell you, walking in Yountville is exciting. The streets are packed. The restaurants have done a lot of outdoor seatings. So Napa Valley, in many ways, dear friends, I know many of you are from Los Angeles, are from the middle part of the country, Texas. Welcome, Texas. Welcome, New York. Welcome, every part of the U.S. This is so thrilled. We're delighted to have you. So as always, we're going to start with some bubbles, but I'll start with the bubbles and now tell you about our very good friend. How often can we claim that we have an Emmy Award personality on our show? This is going to be the fantastic, the charming, the unbelievable Liam. And you've heard his personality because he has this very suave, very charming, very deep, passionate English accent. He's been hosting a lot of great shows. The big one is Eye on the Bay that you all know. And of course, he is very known as the foodie chap. Dear friends, I'm very pleased to introduce you today, the famous Liam. Liam, are you with us?
Bonjour, mon ami, mon chéri, mon petit chou.
Mon petit amour, I love this beautiful shirt.
Aloha. Can I get an aloha?
Aloha.
By the way, I'm not.
Yeah. You're looking so fresh as if you were coming from a lake or from the bay. Where were you today?
So the little sign behind me here says the lake is, where is it? The lake is my happy place. So I have a little place about 45 minutes from Calistoga in Kelseyville, right there on the lake. And I, up until 15 minutes ago, I was literally in my swimming shorts on the boat.
Ooh la 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 la. If we knew pop art was popping all over your body like this, we would have been going on the lake.
Jean-Charles, yeah, it feels good that life is happening again, even slowly. Life is beginning to feel a little bit normal, like 25% normal.
Absolutely. So, Liam, you're going to say to all our friends from all over the country, because we have a lot of friends live and a lot of friends will be watching this. Tell us about some of your greatest achievement, because I've mentioned two, from the food chap to the Eye on the Bay, but all the great things you do, from charities to being an amazing anchor, to being a TV personality, to being a moderator of great speech, and just recently as well, Bottle Rock. So maybe you want to synthesize before we start our first glass of wine.
Yeah,
with all your great things.
I'll try and do this briefly. By the way, Jean-Charles, thank you very much. And I want to say hello to everyone and all of Jean-Charles's followers and friends and fans. And I think before I do anything, one of the greatest moments of my life was walking into a restaurant, La Folie, 16 years ago. And I walk into the back room of the restaurant in San Francisco, the chef at the helm, Roland Passot, and I walk in, there's a man in red shoes and red socks, no, black shoes, black velvet shoes, red socks, and an outrageous jacket with mirrors. And he looked very much like Jean-Charles. He's dancing on the table. And I looked across the room and I thought, I don't know who this guy is, but he's my new best friend. And I ended up drinking late at La Folie that night. I crashed your party, and we've been connected ever since, Jean-Charles. So I wanted to set the scene with that. So thank you, Jean-Charles.
So kind to remind us of all that. So, dear friend, go back 16 years later. It was a month ago or 2 months ago, March 10th, I believe.
Yeah.
The last day of our friend Roland Passot at La Folie. And who do I see dancing on the table? A charming with no socks, gorgeous, right. A very, very exciting torso movement. He's and it's amazing how consistent, how great friends we've been, and
Yeah.
how great of a community we have in San Francisco.
We're very blessed, Jean-Charles, very blessed indeed. And we are blessed to be able to say that the last amazing meal we had at a restaurant was on that Saturday night. Actually, it was Saturday, March 14th, and it was the last night of La Folie. We didn't know it then, but it ended up being the last night we'd all be able to gather as we know it in a restaurant. So what joy it gave me to see you and Gina across the room, Jean-Charles. It wasn't planned, but I walk in and there you are. So history repeats itself, and a lovely thread in our friendship.
And you are with us today, which is amazing. So maybe you want to pour one glass of wine as we start the discussion, because I think it would be so cool. Ooh, look at that. What do you have?
What do you want to go, bubbles or red?
Well, I think I need to trade my bubbles for this amazing bottle of wine too.
Jean-Charles,
you
know what? It's been so fun to be in bondage to you as a friend. And the fact that you would send me this beautiful bottle of wine in bondage, I just hope it's as arresting as the leather around the bottle. We're about to find out.
Well, and we'd love to see the leather around the bottle.
Look at this. I mean, this is like Friday night at my house.
And this is Saturday afternoon. So we can only imagine what's going to be Saturday night at Liam's house on the lake.
Oh, my Lord, Jean-Charles.
As we're going to discover this wine, first, let's do cheers. And then we'll obviously unfold.
Yeah. Cheers, Jean-Charles. Here we go. And by the way, Jean-Charles, I'm sorry I didn't fully answer your question. I'll be very brief, but, I came to America about 25 years ago at the time of the OJ trial. I was working for the BBC. I then ended up in San Francisco. I was only meant to stay for literally 2 weeks. And the 2 weeks has turned into 25 years. I'm not going back. The best decision I ever made in my life. So thank you, San Francisco, for giving me the best years of my life, really.
And your life has always been obviously television and reporting and journalism as well, right?
Yep.
So tell us about the show you've been hosting for so long, as you
So first of all, I want to mention, Jean-Charles, people always ask me about, my love of food and wine. And it really began when I worked for the BBC and they sent me to France for 6 months. And I was covering a fishing strike in Normandy, probably the worst part of France to be in during the winter. However, I used to go to Paris once a month during those 6 months. I'd save all my money. I'd get on the train from Cherbourg all the way to Paris, and I would hop around from restaurant to restaurant, have one glass of champagne or wine at each stop. That's all I could afford, and one appetizer. And there began my love affair with this and with the people behind this. So that's how it all began.
For once, the French have something to do to influence the English correctly. I love it. Because you were raised in England, naturally. You came to the US. And how did you really start to craft this amazing, phenomenal shows that you've been doing?
So Jean-Charles, I would say my first really big break was in 1997. I got to host a music and technology show. I'd done some entertainment reporting and news reporting for the BBC, but I was done with news, especially after the OJ trial. So on Tech TV for 4 years, I hosted 2 shows, Internet Tonight and Audiophile. I was talking to musicians about technology. I got to interview everyone from David Bowie to Willie Nelson and everyone in between. And when you're talking to musicians about technology, Jean-Charles, it's like talking to you about wine. This is your passion. And so they would open up to me, tell me great stories, because I'm not asking them about their personal lives. I'm not asking them about their affairs or the naughty things they would do after shows. But because I was talking about their passion, they would then invite me to hang out. So I'd end up hanging out at the show, then after the show. And so it was a great way to begin sort of my new chapter as an entertainment reporter. That led to Cron 4. For 4 years, I was the entertainment reporter on Cron 4, and I got to interview all my movie idols. I got to interview everyone from Julia Roberts to Tom Cruise, and many, many times I got to interview them. One of the joys of my life was that period, Then I got my own show for 10 years, Eye on the Bay. And,
Eye on the
and
Bay.
So, yeah.
I watched it obviously religiously.
A celebration of the Bay Area and the people like yourself, the personalities who make the Bay Area great. And when I was doing Eye on the Bay, Jean-Charles, while the film crew was setting up, I would always sit with the chefs or the winemakers and have these great conversations. There was just a bonding. There was a mutual appreciation of food and wine. We'd have these great talks before the actual interview. And one day, actually, Roland Passot said to me, "You really should do a radio show." Yeah. And I went, okay. So I pitched it to KCBS. This is 10 years ago. Eye in the Bay was still on the air. So for the last 3 or 4 years of Eye in the Bay, I was doing Eye in the Bay, and then also the KCBS Foodie Chap show, which is now at the end of this year, we'll hit 10 years. Wow. So it's shining a light on the people like yourself, the people behind the food and wine we love.
Well, and I understand, obviously, that you were very active today with Bottle Rock in many ways, because it's going to be hosted officially in October, but you were the unbelievable, entertainer last year, which I got to see you obviously live. And tell us a little bit about it.
So Jean-Charles, today, by the way, as we talk, I'm actually on a YouTube channel right now, the Bottle Rock YouTube channel, hosting a 2-hour show. Between you and I, we taped it last week. So Bottle Rock, of course, couldn't happen this year. But for the last 5 years, I partnered with William Sonoma, and we've produced this amazing culinary stage. We're going to get you up there next year. We have to. But basically, we pair rock star chefs with rock stars. We've had Snoop Dogg with Morimoto, rolling a California roll.
I think I was there on that one.
So much fun. You couldn't smoke it, but you could eat it. We've had Martha Stewart doing a cooking demo with Mayclem. We actually broke a world record 2 years ago with Snoop Dogg, the world's biggest gin and juice paradise cocktail. It was, have a guess, how big do you think it was, Jean-Charles? How big? How big do you think the cocktail was?
The cocktail, I would say, was the equivalent of 3 bottles of wine.
No, it was 500 liters.
Wow.
30 jugs of orange juice, about 100 liters of rum, and 300 liters of gin. And so Guinness World Records claimed that we actually beat the world record, which we did. And it was, to this day, it's still the world's biggest cocktail ever made, and was done by Snoop Dogg, Warren G., and Chef Michael Voltaggio, and I got to moderate an MC. It was really cool.
So did you drink it that night, by the way?
Did what?
Did you drink it that night? Did it get
the whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing. And then I slept for 2 weeks. I didn't wake up for 2 whole weeks. But seriously, Jean-Charles, Bottle Rock, as you know, is one of the funnest events in the Napa Valley. We really do have to get you on the stage next year. Maybe we can think about a world record.
Well, we could, and we have the Raymond Lounge, which is really great. Yep. So we can host anything you want, and we're going to have a lot of our friends. It's a big lounge, so it's all
beautiful.
Velvet, so it's very exciting. So who are you going to have this year? What is the big thing in October with Bottle Rock?
Well, we're still in the planning stages, and not all the contracts have been fully signed. So I'm not even able to say. And I feel awful, Jean-Charles. If I could, I'd share some things with you. But we're just putting the finishing touches to some of our plans. But there will be a world record attempt. We will have some of the chefs, the biggest chefs in the world. But we're still.
You always produce the best shows ever. But now,
fun.
What got you started really in the culinary world? I mean, you explained a little bit of your background.
Yep.
What really was the trigger point for you? Because you've had an amazing background in journalism, an incredible background at BBC, and then boom, suddenly food and wine. How just for everybody listening, how can that happen to them too?
Yeah. So Jean-Charles, I think, by the way, this is really cool being interviewed by you. It's very cool, and you're very good. Jean-Charles, I think for anyone, you have to follow your passion. Yeah. And when I was on Cron 4, the morning show, I got to interview the biggest actors in the world. The biggest musicians. I mean, we had everyone from Coldplay. I mentioned, David Bowie, and then I would have chefs on. And one day I was just walking down the street with my producer about almost 20 years ago, and someone said, "Hey, there's the food guy." And I went, "The food guy?"
Really?
Was I eating too much? No. They saw something in me, the audience, when I'm on with a chef or a winemaker, because I'm so passionate about it.
Sure.
And I do love film and I do love music as well. But there's something about the community of winemakers and chefs that I connected on a personal level that I think showed to the viewers. And so I started to take it more seriously. Food was always a passion, but it was a personal one. And so then I really got interested in the chef stories, the winemaker stories. How did Jean-Charles get to come to America and have this incredible life? What influenced you? Where did it begin? When did you have your first glass of wine? The same with the chef. Who taught you to cook? What was that magic moment? So I've always been interested in the story of how the person got to where they are. Sure, we can sniff the wine and we can wax poetic about the good.
Not only you do it so well, but I think a lot of people, specifically during this time, over the last 2 or 3 months, are effectively asking themselves about questions about what should they do, what should they become, how do they evolve, how do they discover their passion. Yourself, when did you really discover the fact that you were such a great entertainer? And a great interviewer and journalist.
You're kind, Jean-Charles. I'm going to be honest with you. My mum was a nurse, but also a singer, and my father was an Irish folk singer, and so music was in my bones. And my mum, as a kid, used to introduce me as the born actor. She goes, "Have you met my little born actor?" My mum was Irish. My parents were Irish, and I lived in Ireland until I was 11 years old, and then moved to the UK. So my mum, when people would come over and say, "Come on now, Liam, why don't you sing a song in your best voice?" Or she'd say, read a little bit from that play. She encouraged me, the performance. And also, when my mum would open the fridge door and the light went on, I'd do a tap dance. So I think it was in my bones. I think it was in my bones. It was passed on by my parents.
Yeah, so parents, great influence, of course. And really putting you on the forefront, pushing you in a way to be who you are.
So to be who you are. Yeah.
You're a great chef as well. So I know that. So what are you doing to prepare and anything that you're doing this weekend that is exciting for people to be influenced by?
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of great English tricks.
So when it comes to food, so Jean-Charles, I've been with my partner, Rick. He's a photographer. We've been together for 15 years. I just have to give him a little shout out and a little love to Rick. I know he's watching. And you too, as you know.
Why did he last so long?
Yeah, I know. Jean-Charles, I count my blessings every day. When I wake up, before I open my eyes, I just pray that he's still there, and I open, and he's still there. And so every day when Rick is still there, I count my blessings. We really are the billionaires of the world, those who have love in our lives. We're very, very lucky. All the other stuff is great, but to have love in our lives, especially during the last couple of months, Jean-Charles, as you know, to have love and support and family is a blessing, a really big blessing. So to answer your question, we're going to do some grilling tomorrow. I'm not going to look at my phone. Sundays, I put my phone away one day a week.
For you.
No phone. Phone away, turn it off. I don't look in the camera on Sundays. I think it's really important, if you can, just to unplug. If you do it for one day, I think it's very important, because I know that you have had to do so many Zoom calls for business, hosting so many shows, Jean-Charles. It's a lot of camera time. It's a lot of fun, but I think it's important to have a day of unplugging. So tomorrow we'll be unplugging. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that, and you need to unplug with restraint as well. So,
oh my gosh,
why don't you tell us how you feel about this wine as you're tasting it, and then I'm going to tell you the blend, because this is a very exciting one, and many of our friends are asking us, "What are we drinking? What are we drinking?" So,
what are we drinking? Here we go.
you know, as you taste it,
Yes.
you know, you could use that in all kinds of ways. You know, if you have two, you can wear it as a mask. You can wear it on your bare chest, or you can
Don't,
wear it. Which
don't go any lower. Don't go any lower, Jean-Charles. Don't go any lower.
It's a little too small.
Oh my
I would need a
gosh.
double,
Oh my
but I
gosh.
could put it around my leg. Look, and you know how I got the idea of it?
Yeah, tell me, please, Jean-Charles. Tell me about it as I drink and sip. Tell
Well,
us the
of all
story.
places, it was not south of Market Street. It was not, you know, in Paris or in some of the
Yeah.
great clubs. It was actually watching again Julius Caesar movie and looking at those amazing sandals.
Yeah,
And then, you know, it was 4 or 5 years ago, Hermes, you know, the famous
of course.
fashion brands, comes out with those amazing sandals. So Gina and I, you know, for her birthday, I believe I got it. And I
Yeah.
said, this would be so cool to wrap a bottle of wine in leather.
So
But
cool.
we've got to make
So
it
cool.
a little more intense. So I
Yeah.
came up with a name which Patrick changed because it was called Masochist. So it was,
Yeah.
or he wanted it to be called Masochist, and I wanted it to be restrained, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I don't know who had the idea.
Well, you know, and Jean-Charles, this is not a word that I can use in a sentence with your name in.
That's right. It's pretty unusual, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the wine we wanted to create, and I'm going to ask you to describe it in 3 words, was a wine which really represents, in many ways, the heart of the Napa Valley. So why don't you use 3 of your keywords, and then I'll tell you the blend.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first I'm going to say it's spankingly good.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. One sec. It's a fruity party on my palate.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I knew you were a poet as well.
But I'm going to say there's an elegance here. It's actually doing a bit of a ballet dance on my palate. It's got elegance, and it speaks to me. It's like a late night conversation that sort of builds and builds and builds, and then fades a little as you fall asleep. But it's really delicious. It is.
Save some for late night tonight, and you got hopefully 2 bottles, so you have 2 legs. You could really do what you want with it.
One for me and one for Ricky.
Absolutely. So, you know, the predominant part of this is Cabernet Sauvignon, but then it's a blend. And we call it a Napa blend versus a Bordeaux blend because we want Napa to become,
sure,
and it is already this amazing region that it deserves. So I thought this wine, Restrain, was exactly great for you. And the next one,
it is perfect. It's perfect, Jean-Charles.
Wine is obviously Emancipation. So as we open that one, we're going to restrain and then emancipate ourselves.
Jean-Charles, you're having too much fun. Can I tell you? You're having too much. No, you're not. There's never too much fun. You know, here's what I'm going to say something, if I can, just about you. You bring so much fun. You bring your passion. You bring your knowledge. You bring your skill of winemaking, but you make it very accessible for everybody. And, you know, wine is memories. Wine is conversations. And, you know, when I opened up the box today and saw not 1 but 2 of these, of course, you know, I erupted into laughter. And then the curiosity kicked in about what's going on here. And then I couldn't wait to taste it. I just couldn't wait to taste it. And it is restrained. Sometimes, you know, a Napa, obviously it's a blend, but a Cab, it's big, bombastic, overwhelming. It's not, it's like, you know, this is an explosion, but it's not too over the top. It's not overwhelming. I feel I could have this with salmon, and I can enjoy it equally well with some lamb or with a great steak tonight on the grill.
Well, is it what you're doing tonight on the grill? You're doing some steak?
Yeah, I have some. I have everything. I have a little filet mignon tonight. A little filet mignon.
I love it.
Yeah, so a little filet.
A little béarnaise sauce, I hope, with it.
A little bit. I'd love to. You know, I'm very simple when I grill. I really, I will put a little, some du beurre on the top as we finish off, a little parsley, and then simple, just asparagus, grilled asparagus, and a little bit of lemon, and maybe a little shaved Parmesan.
That's it.
Simple.
You would still add a little bit of cheese on it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. So just a whisper of lemon just to brighten it up. But I'm a cheese nut. I love
What is your
every
favorite?
kind of. Oh my gosh! I mean, I so many of the French cheeses I love, but I also, I really love everything they do at Cowgirl Creamery.
Yeah.
I was raised on Irish cheddar, so there is always Irish cheddar in my fridge, always. And sometimes for lunch, I will just, or a snack at 11 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I will just have a couple of slices of Irish cheddar with a tomato slice, and that's like a little snack for me. And there's all
like that could be great. That's what I'm
that's
trying
it.
to say to not only my daughters, but in general to people
Mm.
is the ultimate moment of luxury.
Yeah,
Sally used to say luxury is when he's alone,
yeah.
but at the same time, luxury is having something simple. It could be a tomato, piece of
Oh
cheese,
yeah,
piece of bread, and a great bottle of wine.
that's it. And Jean-Charles, it's when I think about snacks, as I get older, and we were born in the same year, and I'm happy to say it. Jean-Charles and I, we are both 69ers.
And we look so young.
We look so young.
So, Liam, as you know the world of chefs so well, what is your favorite chef, or who is one of your favorite chefs in California, and one of your
Yeah.
favorite chefs at large, and why?
Yeah. So, I never ever say that a chef is my favorite chef because, so many of them are my best friends,
Yeah.
and I'm
Maybe
I'm
the
honored.
hottest chef right now. Maybe one of the
But
chef who's really getting the most amount of publicity.
oh yeah. So in terms of just to talk about a chef who I think is doing extraordinary things, top of mind right now becomes Chef David Nayfeld at Kefico, and I love David not just because of what he created at Kefico, but I love him also, and he's a chef who's top of mind right now because one of his business partners or investors, co-founder of Twitter, came up with an idea to give away 250 meals a night, and they were basically given the money. They were supported so that they could do this, and so the fact that David, here he is, a chef like many others, on the top of the mountain, and then this juggernaut in the form of a virus comes and pow, into all of us in the middle of the night, and he pivoted like many chefs, but didn't think about himself. In fact, he gave the stimulus package money back, or said he didn't want it, and he was qualified to get it. So number one, he's a hero for that. He said there are other people who need the money more. Let's give it to them. Two, he decided then to do these free meals to give away. So I love him for his creativity. I love him for his generosity, and for his supportive community. So David Nayfeld, Kefico.
Well, talking about community, and maybe we should emancipate ourselves with the next wine. Look
Oh,
at what I sent you in your box as well. Emancipate.
Jean-Charles, I don't think I got the emancipation.
Maybe we only thought that restraint was the wine you should have.
Yeah,
But
I think so. But I did get some champagne.
Oh, of course. Well,
some bubbles.
let's continue on the list then. So you do a lot of work with
Yep.
community, and
Yep.
you are such an amazing fundraiser for so many of us here in California. What is your favorite charity? What are your favorite causes and the things you've
Yeah.
been?
Well, among my favorites, Jean-Charles, I was actually a foster kid. So for part of my life, I didn't live with my mother. I was in foster care. So there is an organization called CASA, and CASA stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates for Foster Youth. And these CASAs are basically almost like a big brother, like a parent, and they step in and they guide the foster youth from high school into college, into getting a job. And so the CASAs, and I had one when I was in England when I was 16 years old, Clive, to you. And so when I can stand up, every organization I work with, Jean-Charles, there has to be a heart connection. I know that you get asked to do 101 nonprofits, donate wine to 101, but it's important to only say yes to the things that really touch you here. So anything to do with foster youth and inspiring teens, anything to do with feeding people, anything to do with the LGBTQ community. I really try and stay within my wheelhouse, my bailiwick. And I hate to say this, but you'll never see me standing on a stage asking people for money to save cats. I'm sorry. I don't have a cat. I've never had a cat. So I go where my passion is.
Yeah, which is great. We obviously share a lot of the same passion naturally.
Yeah.
So what are you working on now that is so exciting? Because you have always so many great projects besides all the things we know. Is there anything you want to share that you're working on that we're going to see soon?
Two things I want to mention, Jean-Charles. Number one, I've hosted the Stern Grove Music Festival, Music and Performance Festival, for 7 years. It's been running for 83 years. And from mid-June to mid-August in Stern Grove in San Francisco, they do a performance, 2 o'clock till 5, 3 hours, every kind of music, from jazz, blues, classical, world music, rock, soul, R&B, you name it. They also have the ballet perform. They have the symphony perform.
Exactly, for everybody.
So it starts mid-June. However, this year it's canceled, but we're doing a virtual version. So to answer your question, I'm really excited to announce, I think you're maybe one of the first to hear it, from Sunday, June 14th, Stern Grove will be a virtual show every Sunday, sterngrove.org, and we'll have highlights from past performances, some special guests, and I'll be there every week to guide people. But we'll be competing. No, you're not on Sundays, are you? You're not doing your... Oh, good. So we won't be...
And we never compete. We always find time for one another.
Always, always. So Stern Grove live, and then also, Jean-Charles, I can tell you today, the Bottle Rock Live experience is not only today. We're going to do this every single week, every week for the next 16 weeks, all the way to October. So every week I'm hosting Stern Grove Live, I'm hosting Bottle Rock Live, and then a lot of my charity auctions are all also moving to a virtual space until we can get together again. So I've been doing every week a virtual charity auction, a lot of fun. It's a lot of time looking into a computer screen.
Well, this is very exciting, and we'll make sure we post that on Facebook Live as well. And
thank you, Jean-Charles.
Because people want to see you, and I'm missing so much Bottle Rock and all the activity. It's crazy. Yep. So last night, not to talk too long about emancipation, because you should tell us about 69, because you were holding 69 last night. There was a very exciting, sexy picture of you posted on your Instagram in a hot tub. Is it your way to spend Friday night?
Well, Jean-Charles, let me tell you, I have to tell folks, I did share a picture with Jean-Charles. I would never during this period of time post a picture of me having an amazing time, but I have to tell you, I do the voiceover, the commercials for Creative Energy. They're a hot tub company, and so I've been the voice of Creative Energy, a hot tub now. So I've been the voiceover for their commercials, and everybody deserves a hot tub. So part of my deal was to have a hot tub. The delivery date for my hot tub, are you ready for this? Was Tuesday, March 17th. What happened? No hot tub. So they called me and they said we couldn't deliver. So it finally came 2 weeks ago. So my nights end, Jean-Charles, after dinner, glass of wine, and I'm in the hot tub, maybe with a glass of bubbles, and then it's off to bed. But it's a great way to relax and unwind. I love the water. I love being on the water. I love being in the water. All things water.
In England, you're on an island, so you're kind of surrounded by. You always had the best, Navy in the world, right?
Yeah, they're not bad. They're good.
So Liam, sadly, we're coming to the end of this amazing moment, because I know you have to go back on the boat and you probably have to do more with Bottle Rock today. Yeah. So share with us, so many people right now with us, know you and have met you and have seen you and have enjoyed you, is there any secret you wish to share?
Oh my
I
God,
know there's a
Jean-Charles,
lot of very cool ones, but you
you
must
are
have a secret you've never shared before.
you are so naughty. A secret I want to share. Oh my
Not
good
yet.
gosh.
Not
I
yet.
mean, you're bringing back memories for me, Jean-Charles. You're bringing back some memories. Um, if I was to share a secret, it wouldn't be a secret anymore. And by the way, I'm not being boring when I say this, but I think if there was a secret I would share, it's no secret, and that is that my partner in life, Rick, I can sometimes see him across the room, even after 15 years, and he takes my breath away. So I have no secret really, except to say that I got very lucky to meet my partner in life, and the secret is, even after 15 years, there's still love there. There's still a little lust there. So that's the secret. The secret is, that's it. If you want your relationship to last, you still have to have a little lust in your eyes and always love in your heart. So I think that's the secret, Jean-Charles.
It's a
Lust,
beautiful way,
yeah.
Liam, to not only to conclude, but to introduce the wine I will send you now, which is called Emancipation. And
Yes.
you know why
Yes.
we called it Emancipation?
Please share.
For the two keys, of course, of Chateauneuf-du-Pape originally, which is in the
Yeah.
south of Rhone.
Yeah.
But the equivalent here is a California wine with a third key, which is the key to your heart, the key to your spirit, and obviously the key to your own departure to be who you want to be. So I think
That's
you're
it.
an example, Liam, of someone who came to the United States, became the amazing entertainer that you are, the great success,
Oh man.
the great friend that I can count you part of our friendship and our world and our circle. And finally, I think to the great example you are to so many to do what you aspire to do, to succeed in what you wanted to do, and to live your life the way
Yeah.
you.
That's it, Jean-Charles. Live your life fully expressed. I really believe, I know that this is what you do. It really is what I believe. And to all your friends and followers and fans, I say, maybe we do come around a second time, but while we're here this time around, let's make it count. Live your life fully, freely, and fully expressed, because when you let go and really express who you are, life can be so much more fun than you ever imagined. So I say to you, Jean-Charles, you're a great inspiration. We've never had anything short of a great time. It's always smiles and fun. It's also education, because I learn something every time I'm in your company, Jean-Charles. Thank you for the gift.
Well, and thank you, Liam, for being with us
Thank
today.
you.
I know it's a big weekend.
Yeah.
And as you referred to, it's the ascension, the resurrection,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
reincarnation. As I posted today the wise word of being thankful to live the world we live in, and keeping, as you said and alluded to, coming back into something else as we can express ourselves. So expression to freedom of everything, and liberty, and all the people who came before us, because you English, let's never forget as well that the veterans are thankful today to England in 1941.
Oh,
amazing country to turn around.
Absolutely. Jean-Charles, to the veterans, and we remember them this weekend especially. So this Irish Englishman who has big love for Frenchmen and women, I say cheers, and let's say salute to all of those, and also especially Jean-Charles, those on the front lines, the first responders, the helpers, those who are going to help others at this time. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. And to your inspiration, Liam, we love you.
And God bless America.
And send us pictures on the grill tonight.
I will, Jean-Charles. I will.
All the best.
Love you, my friend.
Thanks for being with us.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.